Come on in, everybody. Come on in so we can get this review and recap started of Married at First Sight, a season of 15, episode 11. And this is going to be for Justin and Alexis. And if you are here for the very first time, welcome, 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 welcome to my channel. I hope you like this video. Hope you like it, you subscribe it, and I hope you join us down in the comments. And if you are here with me every week, faithfully supporting me, I thank you so much. And thank you for being here today because I got a lot to talk about and I need to hear from all of you as well. Oh my goodness, a Dr. Pia. She understood the assignment with Alexis and Justin. And let me tell you, she blew it wide open. Bravo to Dr. Pia when it comes to Alexis and Justin. Now, let me tell you, if you're one of the people out here still saying Alexis isn't attracted to Justin, Alexis isn't attracted to Justin, this is the reason why she acts the way she does. You only have half the story. And the reason why you only have half the story is because when you say Alexis is acting this way because she doesn't want justice, she doesn't like Justin, you are giving Alexis credit that if there were another man around, Alexis would treat him differently. Bye, not true at all. Alexis is a professional gaslighter. And let me tell you something, when you are a professional gaslighter, you don't just pick and choose who you gaslight. You gaslight in any situation when your back is up against the wall. You don't just gaslight people because you don't like them or you're not attracted to them. No, you gaslight anybody who comes to you and points out anything with you. And that's exactly what she tried to do with Dr. Pia. She tried to do it to Dr. Pia, and Dr. Pia is too quick and too intelligent to have gone for it, and Alexis didn't like it. By the time Dr. Pia was getting done with Alexis, Alexis was talking about she needed a mental health break. When you buy into the notion that Alexis is only doing the stuff she's doing because she isn't attracted to Justin, you're giving Alexis a pass. That's what you're doing. You're buying her notion, her speech, which is, it's not me, it's you. And if I were more attracted to you, I would be a different person. Don't buy it. Don't allow people to do that to you. Don't allow people to do that to you in your life. Look at what they do with people outside of you, and you'll realize you're no more special. Justin's got his problems. Absolutely. And what Alexis does is what gaslighters always do. They use your problems to justify their behavior. Now, let me tell you, that's a good game plan because guess what? We all got problems. So because we all got problems, gaslighters get to go around and never work on themselves. They get to always just point out what you do and to justify their actions. They never have to deal with their own stuff. And once again, here was Alexis trying to come on here, talk to Dr. Pia, trying to blame all the stuff that Justin does to justify what she does. And guess what? It didn't work. Let me tell you, Justin is on to Alexis, and the way he's handling it is he's doing tit for tat. Is that juvenile? Is it immature? Absolutely. But at this point in time, he is realizing he is so outmatched by Alexis because she's a professional. She's been doing this a long time. He is outmatched with Alexis, so he has resorted to tit for tat, which is juvenile. This is just like Mike Tyson fighting Holyfield. Once Mike Tyson found out he was unmatched, or what he do? He bit the ear of Holyfield. That's what this looks like. It was foul, it was juvenile, it was ridiculous, and it looked crazy. And that's why Justin also looks bad, because he realizes he is outmatched by Alexis. So when he's in a brawl with Alexis and he can't beat her with his words or anything like that, he bites Alexis on the ear. And that's what Justin does, tit for tat. First of all, this whole conversation about Alexis going out every week And she talking about that's cruelty. She should be able to go out once a week. She doesn't want to be with someone 24/7. There were so many lies that Alexis told, but I'm gonna break them down. And people, if you watch my parodies, get ready because I'm brewing up a good parody on Alexis this week, and I'll be dropping that. If not tomorrow, the next day. Look out on it because she gave me a whole lot of material on this episode, and I'm gonna use it. First of all, Alexis acts like giving up the club for 8 weeks is a big sacrifice. Girl, I have given up carbs and sugar for longer than 8 weeks. You can't give up the club for 8 weeks for a marriage? She sounds ridiculous. You know why Alexis has to go to this club every single week? Because Alexis likes to feel wanted and needed. That's why she was in so much heaven on the honeymoon, because Justin was showering her with affection and compliments, and when she was soaking it up and drinking it like it's Hennessy. She loved it. But now that Justin has cut back on all these compliments and fawning all over her, she needs her fix. So she needs to get to that club, shake her booty, and get some attention from some men because she feels as if Justin's not giving her enough. She keeps talking about it. She keeps talking about she wants to go back to the honeymoon days when she could do no wrong in Justin's eyes, when she was the belle of the ball, when Justin was falling all over her. That's what she wants to go back to. And Justin has stopped doing it because you know what Justin sees? He's starting to see some flaws with her, and he's holding back on these compliments, and she doesn't like it. You know, another thing with Justin, he ain't crying no more. He's like, she ain't worth crying over. Justin is holding these tears because you know what? He is not filled with good emotions for Alexis. He's starting to have some bad emotions for Alexis, and that ain't making him cry one bit. Alexis likes to be told over and over and over, she's so wonderful. This is why she started this whole rumor, a lie. I'm going to call it a lie, that she had 3 proposals. She likes to give the appearance that she's so desired. All this going under the club so she can get admiration and looks from men and compliments from men so she can feel admired. This is the same thing. And when they started getting that little argument and she said, or they had their little speeches and she was like, well, if you don't want me, somebody will. There it is. Alexis acts like she's so confident, but she really isn't. She needs constant adoration, constant validation. And I'm not believing this story about that she goes to the club only for 1 to 2 hours. Give me a break. She lives in California, San Diego, and they got traffic just like everybody else got traffic. And I don't know how you can do anything in 1 hour, 2 hours, let alone go to a club. Dang, it takes me more than an hour to go to Target. You're talking about in California, I'm quite sure it takes her at least a half hour to drive to that club and a half hour to get back. I mean, is the club downstairs? Do they live on top of the club? Because if they do not live next door to the club or on top of the club, there is no way she is going to a club in 1 or 2 hours. You mean to tell me she's driving to the club, driving home from the club, meeting her friends, having a drink, and doing a dance all in an hour or 2 hours? Alexis is lying. And then she was talking about, well, it's not the club. I go to the brunch too. Well, then you ain't going to brunch in 1 or 2 hours. That's not brunch. If you can finish a meal in 1 hour, it's not called brunch. It's called lunch or breakfast. A brunch is a long time because you sit down and you keep going back and back for more brunch, more champagne, and more mimosas. She acts like none of us have ever been to a brunch or to a club, and she thinks we're going to believe that she's only gone for 1 to 2 hours. And then when she talks about, I can't be with Justin 24/7, girl, you're not with Justin 24/7. And thank goodness Dr. Pia called her out and said, well, he ain't asking for you to be with him for 24/7. He's just saying, can you spend the weekends with him a few hours? Because let me tell you, you aren't spending 24/7 with Justin. First of all, both of y'all work. So you're gone from the house at least 9 hours a day. And then that's not even including commuting time. And then you're asleep. So at best, Alexis, you may be spending 2 hours at home with your husband or during the week. And on the weekend, you should be making up some time. This is an experiment. If you can't give up the club for 8 weeks, to get to know your husband, you're not ready to be married at all. Like I said, I have given up carbs. I have given up pork. I have given up sugar for longer than 8 weeks. And Alexis is telling us she can't give up the club for 8 weeks. Get out of here. And then she tries to flip it and say because Justin is asking her to give up the club, he's being controlling and manipulative. This is gaslighting 101, that when you don't want to own your own stuff, then what you do is you say it's a problem with the other person. No, when you're on experiment for 8 weeks and someone asks you to give up the club for 8 weeks and you can't do it, you're the problem. He's not saying she couldn't go somewhere else. He's saying, why does it have to be the club? Because the club is where she goes to get her validation, just like Hinge and just like those apps. Alexis loves to get out there in front of people, roll around on the pole, shake her booty so she can feel like she's the best, most attractive, and the most wanted woman in the world. Then she tried to tell that lie talking about, well, I wouldn't have been doing it if I didn't know what he wanted. Girl, are we believing this too? Absolutely not. Justin has told you quite clearly he doesn't want you going to the club. So she tries to say the only reason she was going was because Justin didn't tell her he didn't want her to go. Well, now he's telling you and you're still resisting. So that's a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie. She tells so many lies, she can't even keep her own lies straight. She's losing track of the lies she told just 5 minutes ago. And Dr. Pia was not going for it, and Justin has caught on to it too. This is why he's not crying. This is why Justin himself has checked out this relationship, because everyone is on to Alexis. So I'm telling y'all, people, if you out here believing that the only reason Alexis is doing this behavior is because of Justin, you are 2 steps behind. This is professional behavior by Alexis, and she has done this plenty of times. I'm telling you, she did it to get on this show. She did it to get on this show. She fooled Dr. Pepper, she fooled Pastor Cal, and she fooled me in the first episode because I was believing her too. But if you watch Alexis for any length of time, you start to realize we not the problem, she's the problem. She says she thinks she's ready to be married because she's worked harder than she's ever had. And she's so committed and dedicated to this relationship. No, you're not. You're committed and dedicated to the club because that's where you go. You're dedicated and committed to the streets. That's where you go more often than not. And that's where your commitment is. It's not with Justin. It's not to this marriage. And Dr. Pia did pull something out of it. He said, well, are you committed just not to Justin? And she said, yes. That to me, I'm telling you, is a cop-out. She's definitely not committed to Justin, but I'm telling you, Alexis' problem is way beyond Justin. She has a problem overall because even if it was just about Justin, she wouldn't do some of the things that she's doing. Absolutely not. She tried to use the fact of that she forgave Justin over what happened to the dog, Newton. First of all, Newton has forgiven Justin because anytime Newton is in a room with Justin, he's hanging all over Justin and not Alexis. So Newton is already forgiven. And just like Dr. Pia said, well, you sacrificed Newton for that period of time because he got hurt. But Justin is continuing to make a sacrifice because Maya is still at that dog prison. She keeps talking about how she gave up a Newton and sacrificed Newton for Justin. And she discounts the fact that Maya is sitting over there stuck in a dog prison as if Justin hasn't given anything up. And when Dr. Pia called her on it, all of a sudden now she realized, oh, wait a minute, I can't gaslight Dr. Pia. I need a mental health break. This is not good for my mental health break, and I don't want to be here no more. So what does Alexis do when she starts to feel cornered? She falls into victim mode. Oh, I feel isolated. Oh, I feel unheard. I feel attacked. I feel dismissed, not only by Justin, but by you too, Dr. Pia. Both of you are messing up my mental health. How is it just because I want to hang out with my friends, I'm an unfit wife? First of all, that's not what people said. People said, because you want to go out with your friends, you're an unfit wife. You are twisting around the whole story. No, the question is, why do you need to hang out at the club with your friends? That makes you an unfit wife. And why can't you give it up for 8 weeks during this experiment as if you were addicted to the club? That's the bigger problem. Justin is so frustrated. He went into his tit for tat mode. He took off that ring because the stuff coming out of Alexis' mouth was so hurtful. He didn't know what else he could say or do. So he said, you know what, let me take off this ring and try to hurt her too. It probably didn't hurt her. It probably didn't hurt her at all, but it was only the one thing he could think of that he could do in that moment to try to hurt her. And let me tell you, it landed flat because Alexis doesn't care about Justin. Alexis cares more about herself than Alexis, period. That's what happens to people who are gaslighters. In the end, they care more about themselves than you. So no matter what you do, they're gonna get their shots in. Alexis says she has sacrificed a lot. You know, the problem is Justin, he has underestimated the turn up, as she says. She says, I done cut back a lot, going out to the club once a week for 2 hours a day. She said the real me will be out at the club 4 or 5 times a week. Absolutely. That's what junkies do. Junkies hit the crack pipe more than once a week. And that club, Hinge, all these dating apps where she trolls and wants men trolling her, that is what she likes to do because she's a junkie for attention. So in her eyes, she probably has felt like she's made a big sacrifice. That's why she's running around talking about, when do I get to be me? Or when do I get to do what Alexis wants to do? Because this cutting back on going to the club every weekend, that ain't me at heart. I've already cut back enough. I ain't cutting back this much. Then Alexis, you need to go off and be single. Like I told people think this is just because it's Justin. Absolutely not. This is Alexis at her core. It doesn't matter. She would still want to be this person. And what she would be looking for, a person who allowed her to be this person. This is why she kept saying that she feels somewhat tricked or bamboozled by Justin, and he ain't putting his money where his mouth is. Because on the honeymoon, he was feeding her all that BS, talking about, I want to give you your freedom. I want to let you do what you want to do. I want to cook and clean and take care of Newton and all this other kind of stuff. And now that the moment has come, what she's saying is Justin isn't living up to it. This is the life that Alexis wanted. She wanted to be married. She wanted the convenience of marriage, but she still wants to live her single life. It's what she wanted. It has nothing to do with what Justin looks like and who he is. That is really the life that Alexis wanted. And another lie Alexis told. Did everybody watch the after party maybe last week or the week before? And Alexis alluded to the fact that one of the problems they were having about sex in the bedroom, she alluded to the fact that it was a problem with Justin, that somehow he couldn't deliver in the bedroom. Well, in this episode, I think we hear the real truth because she corrects herself. She says that we have problems with intimacy and the problems are with her, that she doesn't want to do it. Justin talks about he tries to kiss her. He tries to initiate contact with her and she doesn't respond. That's a completely different story. The story Alexis was trying to make us believe in the after party was that she was trying, but Justin couldn't deliver. Now we find out that the real problem is Justin has tried, but Alexis doesn't want to do it. Alexis is perfectly comfortable with us believing that the problems in the bedroom is some type of performance issue with Justin, when the reality is, it's more like what she's saying, she doesn't want to do it. Justin has figured out he's always going to be number 2. He said he's going to be number 2 behind the dog, and he's going to be number 2 behind the friends with Alexis. And number 1 in Alexis' life is Alexis. So he's actually not number 2, he's number 3. Alexis is first, the friends and the dog are number 2 and number 3, and he's number 4. And I do a video on the after party, but in the after party, Alexis is on the after party as well with Stasha and Beth from past season. And she admits that she has given a Newton away to her mother before. Alexis has said, I'm a free spirit and I like to go. So there have been times before when her mother has kept a Newton. So this whole story about Alexis can't give up Newton and Newton is the best thing and the most important thing in her life. Alexis has given up Newton before when she wanted to put herself first. Like I told you, Alexis likes to use excuses. This is why I also said when Newton even first got hurt, we didn't understand why Alexis was just pawning Newton off on Justin. Alexis has pawned Newton off on several people. She tries to act like Newton is the most important, but every time you turn around, she's talking about a time when she left him. The number 1 person in Alexis' life is Alexis. And I was so happy that finally an expert came on the show and exposed her. I don't know how it's going to bode well for Dr. Pia, because we all know how it works out here, that when anyone comes on and it's too hard on any of the cast, people start complaining, and the next thing you know, the experts have to change the way they interact with the cast. It happened last year with Keisha Knight Pulliam, because people thought Keisha Knight Pulliam was too hard on some of the cast members, specifically Jasmina. And guess what happened to Keisha Knight Pulliam this year? She had to dial it back. Oh, she needs to be more not biased. She needs to be nicer. She's too opinionated. And so I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be mad at the way that Dr. Pia handled Alexis. But here's the problem with therapy. People come to therapy wanting their shit to be validated, and so they never grow. Alexis is all hurt over the way that Dr. Pia handled her. What she wanted to do was she wanted to get validated and told she was right. But guess what happens then? You never grow. You stay stuck. And that's been the problem with Alexis her whole life. No one is confronting her on her BS. And so she's not growing. She's constantly walking around out here saying, it's not me, it's you. And she's doing it over and over and over again. And the latest victim is Justin. He is just the latest victim of this. It's not me, it's you thing. Anyway, I'm over Alexis, but that's it, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.